Just imagine a scorching desert, a caravan stretching to the horizon, thousands of camels each laden with gleaming gold, cities shaken to their core, markets where the price of gold crashed to the ground, and rulers left wondering who this man was whose single journey disrupted the global balance of wealth. Dear viewers, this isn't a fable or a movie scene. This is a chapter of history acknowledged even by the Western world. Today, we're talking about the richest person in history, not Bill Gates or Elon Musk, but a Muslim ruler whose wealth defies measurement even today. The question is, did this immense fortune lead him to arrogance? Or did he turn power into worship? Was he merely the owner of gold, or also a master of knowledge, justice, and piety? In this narrative, we'll take you to that magnificent Islamic empire in the heart of Africa. Friends, you must be wondering who I am talking about. I am talking about Mansa Musa, where one man's generosity became legend, where a single pilgrimage shook the global economy, and where the light of Islam spread far and wide. You'll also learn where Mansa Musa's wealth came from, why his empire declined, and what lessons the modern world can draw from this great Muslim ruler. So stay till the end. This isn't just a story of riches, it's a tale of power, faith, and one of history's greatest lessons. In the heart of Africa, where desert and greenery meet, there existed an empire whose name still amazes historians, the Mali Empire. This wasn't an ordinary state, it was a global power in gold, salt, knowledge, and trade. Without it, the map of the medieval world feels incomplete. On its throne sat a young ruler whose name is written in golden letters on the pages of time. Mansa Musa. This was an era when Europe was plunged in darkness, but in this African region, wealth wasn't just hoarded. It circulated under organized governance, law, and faith. In Mali's markets, gold was so plentiful it was measured not by weight, but by need. Trade caravans carried news of this empire's prosperity to North Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. Mansa Musa's rule wasn't based solely on swords or treasures. It rested on a structured state system, a strong economy, Islamic administration, justice, and generosity, making his one of history's wealthiest empires. Wealth so vast that no scale has ever contained it. Mansa Musa's fortune wasn't from some sudden discovery. It resulted from centuries of a well-organized economic system. The Mali Empire controlled some of the world's largest gold mines, especially in regions like Bambouk and Bear. In that era, much of the world looked to Africa for gold, and Mansa Musa controlled it all. But astonishingly, gold alone wasn't the foundation. Salt, common today, was more precious than gold back then. Caravans of salt from across the desert met Mali's gold-laden ones, creating the era's most valuable trade. Mansa Musa secured these routes, established fair taxation, and turned cities like Timbuktu, Gao, and Jen to global commercial hubs. This made his wealth not just personal, but circulating throughout the empire, making him history's richest man. One famous account says that when Mansa Musa set out for Hajj, it wasn't an ordinary caravan. It was a moving display of power, wealth, and faith. Thousands of servants, soldiers, scholars, and camels accompanied him, each camel loaded with gold. When the caravan reached Cairo, Mansa Musa showed such generosity that gold flowed like water. He gave to the poor merchants, and so much that Egypt's economy was affected for years. Gold's value dropped, prices changed, and historians still call it the only event where one person's generosity shook the global market. This Hajj wasn't just worship, it declared to the world that Africa wasn't merely a land of slaves or jungles, it was a center of knowledge, wealth, and Islamic civilization. In the midst of the desert sands stood a city where knowledge was more precious than gold, Timbuktu. Under Mansa Musa, it became the world's greatest university. Hundreds of thousands of manuscripts existed on mathematics, astronomy, medicine, fiqh, history, and philosophy. While Europe languished in ignorance, this African city produced works on star maps, surgical principles, women's rights, and rational interpretations of Islam. Tragically, colonial powers either burned or erased this knowledge. Even today, manuscripts hidden in Timbuktu's homes, basements, and chests, if revealed, would force the world to admit that intellectual leadership wasn't always Western. He didn't just own money, he controlled the world's largest gold reserves directly. He set gold prices, not followed them. Modern wealth depends on stocks and markets as was tied to landmines trade routes, and state authority historians agree Mansa Musa wasn't just rich, he was incomparably. So some estimates place his wealth at billions of dollars in today's terms. But with gold, salt, and empire control, it's impossible to quantify precisely. Consensus: he was history's richest person. Note, Mansa means king or emperor in the local language. He ruled the Mali Empire from 1312 to 1337. The Mali Empire was rich in minerals: gold, salt, granite, uranium, phosphorus, limestone, and especially gold mines. In the early 14th century, Mali supplied nearly half the world's gold demand, was sky-high globally. His empire's borders were vast, encompassing parts of modern Mauritania, Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Chad, and more. Mansa Musa was known as a pious, just and generous ruler. His most famous event, the 1324 Hajj pilgrimage preparations, took over a year. Golden tents, a portable palace. Thousands of tents formed a moving city. He traveled with 60,000 people, including 12,000 slaves and attendants, each carrying 4 pounds of gold. According to Ibn Khaldun, the numbers were uncountable. His horse had a special golden saddle. Ahead walked 500 men in fine silk, each holding a golden staff. 80 camels carried 300 pounds, about 136 kilograms of gold each. Mansa Musa spent an estimated 125 tons of gold on this journey. Wherever he passed, he aided the poor, built mosques every Friday, and gifted rulers, merchants, and locals generously. Cairo and Medina's people had never seen such gold. He met Egypt's Mamluk Sultan al-Nasir Muhammad, who was stunned by his splendor. Mansa Musa's spending depressed Egypt's gold value for years. On return, concerned about economic harm from his generosity, he offered to buy back gold at double price, improving local economies. His fame spread to Europe. Traders came to verify, and he appeared on the 1375 Catalan Atlas holding gold. Estimates suggest his wealth. Mansa Musa's wealth wasn't locked in vaults. It transformed into mosques, universities, and culture. He knew true power lies in buildings that connect generations and cities that become beacons of knowledge. The Jingurbir Mosque in Jen, the world's largest mud brick building, stands as his legacy, a place of worship, justice, education, and community. Timbuktu became an intellectual capital with mosques and madrasas like Sankor, where 25,000 plus students studied math, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy. When Europe was in the Dark Ages, Timbuktu shone with knowledge. Later, invaders attacked. Manuscripts were hidden or destroyed in colonial times. Families risked lives to preserve them. If digitized today, they could rewrite history, proving Africa led in science and inquiry. After Mansa Musa's death, around 1337, the empire declined. He was its pivot. Economy, politics, knowledge. Successors lacked his vision. Central control weakened. Trade routes became unsafe. External. The empire fell not from lack of wealth, but from losing the leader who managed it. Dear friends, Mansa Musa doesn't teach us to amass wealth, but how to direct it. Islam views wealth as a trust from God with accountability. The Quran reminds us wealth is God's gift, bringing both blessing and trial. Imagine turning immense wealth, not just into gold, but into a legacy that shapes knowledge, justice, and faith. Mansa Musa showed us that true power lies in generosity, vision, and devotion. What will you do with your resources? Will you leave a mark on this world that echoes through history? Mansa Musa's story proves wealth is not gold alone, it is knowledge, generosity, and faith. Every act of kindness, every investment in people can echo across centuries. What will you leave behind? Will your life be remembered for wealth or for the legacy that uplifts generations? Let your actions speak loud. Our channel is new, and I really need your support. The video you are watching on YouTube is from a channel we just recently started. Every like, share, and comment means a lot to us. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments. Whatever comes to your mind, just ask. And yes, please give me ideas for the next topic. What kind of videos would you like to see next? Your feedback is our inspiration, And I truly want to share this journey with you from the heart. We'll meet again in the next video. Until then, take care and goodbye.